Alrighty, welcome back to what is now my fourth Geras guide. We have made a standard Geras guide, an advanced Geras guide, and a Motaro Geras guide. I'm going to go ahead and just do what I'm just going to refer to as a Geras Master's guide. I'm going to put so much more depth onto everything I've already explained before. I have so much playtime with this character and so much knowledge about him, so might as well make another guide, and I said I would at 1,000 subs, so thank you for that. If you haven't subbed already, drop a sub if you learn anything new or you're just a cool guy. Yeah, I'm not going to waste any time, so let's just get right into it. I'm going to go ahead and go through a little overview of what this character is in a nutshell. Geras is going to be a strike throw, resource mandated character. He does strike throw better than almost nobody in this game. Strike throw, very self-explanatory. You're either going to guess a button or a throw, a button or a command grab. Slightly has to take big risks to get what he wants to do going. Like forward 3, for example, huge negative button. Pretty much every single string he has in his move list is an armored gap of some sorts. Dies to jump-in's really bad if he's doing a button, etc. But massive rewards with big damage. Steamrolls your life bar is something crazy. If you are using a character, if you're using a cameo that gives you the meterless time freezes, you don't have to worry about meter management at all. Because instead of spending a bar on time freeze, you could just spend a cameo for time freeze. So that is very important. Definitely a patient and methodical character. You're rewarded most by just whiff punishing a lot, letting people make their own mistakes. It's very rewarded for Geras to play an in and out playstyle. One thing I'll go over a little bit later for an example is if you just stick out a forward 2 and you just backdash back 1-2, that definitely draws out people's pokes a lot. Just for an example. So you just play in and out. It creates a very frustrating experience for them to try and lock you down whenever you're threatening neutral with things like just soft commitment buttons, blend of staggers. For example, just sweep. Oh, and cameo moves, obviously. Sweep, back 1-2, forward 2, forward 2-4. Occasional forward 3. You don't want to do it too much because it is death on block. Once you have the conditioning set in with your sweep and your forward 3, that's whenever the bullshit starts. The dash in command grab, the dash in mids, throws, strike throw. That shit is extremely good, extremely effective. I will say just gotta be careful against characters. Only 3 characters in this game can do anything about back 1-2. That's Li Mei, her Vita Burn down back 3. Kung Lao's back 1 and Lu's stand 1. Those are all 6-frame buttons. You actually die for using your best mid as Geras against those characters. And then for just dealing with jump-ins, you have a burst, the armored burst. Nothing in the game is really beating you out of that. Geras has one of the best stand 1s in the game. Alright, let me not sell here. But yeah, one of the best stand 1s in the game because of his heights. It just sticks straight out, extremely good. Almost no character in the game can get past your stand 1. And then hopefully without that you can unblock it. Alright, I mentioned being resource mandated. What does resource mandated mean? Geras is, I believe, the only character in the game that has anything like an Hourglass, where you have to do certain things to be able to use the rest of your move list. So you basically have to play around building hourglasses at all times. Anything you do, it's in order to get hourglasses out. So, for example, you have forward 3 on hit, That is plus 27, puts them full screen hard knockdown overhead. You can input buffer an Hourglass off of that. Get an Hourglass for free. 1, 2, 2, 1 plus 3. Also builds an Hourglass, but it's the same result. Plus 23 full screen essentially guarantees you another Hourglass. You have the option to use cameos and sit behind them. That's a free example. Motaro, triple tail, you just put it down, sitting behind a wall of projectiles. Freehourglasses.com. Any cameo move that acts as like a pause neutral, like his triple tail or Lao low hats, things of that nature. Anything that gives him a pause button to get it out freely, definitely encouraged to use. That's among all of his meta cameos. They essentially all do the same thing. For your combo routes, just for building Hourglasses, you have very easy ones, like this for example. That's 2 Hourglasses, throws them full screen, plus 23, third one's guaranteed. You have this. You'll notice a pattern here. Most of these end with 1, 2, 2, 1 plus 3. Third one's guaranteed. You can just simply spend a bar if you want to. Keep momentum, etc. You don't have to spend a bar if we're doing Hourglass combos with some cameos. For example, Motaro. Same result. And then you have Motaro has a combo to where you can charge all 3 with just the use of cameos. That is 3 Hourglasses, no bars spent, locked and loaded, ready to go. So, I guess to summarize that, resource mandated, you do everything in your power at all times, no matter what, to always have 3 Hourglasses so you can use the rest of your move list. So that's just a general overview, and I'm going to go ahead and get into some of the key normals. I'm going to go in depth about some strings, some pokes, etc. Alright, so Geras, I'll just start off with the pokes. Geras has the worst down 1 in the game because of how bad its range is. Most of the time, whenever a character walks up to you and pokes, that happens. You cannot reversal punish pokes 95% of the time. 95% of the time, your down 1 will whiff, so that results in them being able to walk up and mash on you. So that is simply dreadful. So how do we avoid that? Very simple. Let's take a look here. This move, oh, I went past it. Where's it at? Ah, yes. This move on your move list doesn't exist. This isn't real. That is simply an imaginary button. Your down 1, don't touch it. You will die for using it more than it'll help you. Your down 3 is your down 1. Down 1, not a button. Don't do it. Down 3 is your down 1. Your down 3 jails a few buttons. Your down 3 jails forward 2, back 1, forward 1, 1, 2, and 2, 1 on hit. Whenever your poke hits, all those buttons jail. Point blank, your down 4 jails, all of the same buttons. And at max range, because it does have a little bit of range to it, your max range down 4 will jail back 1, 2, and forward 2, 4. Your sweep, which is back 4, is godlike. It is one of the most privileged sweeps in the game. It's among your best conditioning tools you have for the character. You are going to sweep a ton. This move is ridiculous. Part of the reason why the sweep is so good is that you have the same range low and the same range overhead. So you essentially have permanent 50-50. The sweep is the safe one, the overhead is death on block. But yes, you are going to use the sweep a lot. A lot. Alright, his forward 3, which is his big overhead move, 19 startup, plus 27, negative 25 on block. It is extremely nice to have the option to cover it with an ambush cameo or a summon cameo of some type. Like this, for example. Let's just say he blocks it. I get to just use it with no risk. Extremely good. So you definitely want to follow that move with an ambush cameo or a summon cameo to remain safe, if or when you get an opportunity to do so, or if you're not sure if it's going to hit or not. Sometimes, you know, you'll forward 3 2 or 3 times in a row and that shit just works. Like I mentioned earlier, forward 3 essentially guarantees you a free Hourglass on hits. Because of the range it puts them, plus 27, full screen, it's basically free. So forward 3 is extremely good to get out Hourglasses. Mental stacking, just like the sweep, really good conditioning tool. The mental stack that you get off of 4-3 is insanely good. Because people will start to just sit there and block at the range of it. And then again, that's where you can dash up, strike, throw, mix, etc. Super good. Motaro gets actually a guaranteed clone setup on forward 3. So that is pretty absurd. You can forward 3 and cancel the frame it hits, and clone is guaranteed to come out. A clone setup anyway is guaranteed to come out. They have to hold that. Alright, next move we'll go over forward 4-4. I've seen this string a million times. It is a 14 frame low launcher. If it hits, they are in the air. If it is blocked, it is negative 16. So you die unless you follow it up with something safe like Motaro low tail, for example. So forward 4 on stagger is plus 2 on hits, and on block it's negative 7 on hits. This is probably his best stagger that he has is in his move list, because this is a low launcher. If the second hit hits them in any capacity, the third is always coming out. So if the second hit hits them, it is a guaranteed launcher. So they have to hold that. That's why forward 4 is extremely good, because people know to respect the second hit of this. So you can start staggering this into whatever you want. Forward 4, an overhead, forward 4, another one, forward 4, a grab, it doesn't matter. Forward 4 is one of his most important staggers by a mile. Forward 4, like I mentioned, should be kept safe with cameos that have a mixture of fast recovery and safe on block. The easiest examples I can give you is the Motaro low tail shots, Kung Lao low hat, Chameleon fan toss, Chameleon jade glaive, Serena the single projectile, Motaro kamikaze grab, Ferra stance 1, this one. All of those serve the exact same purpose, and that is it gives you the ability to mindlessly throw this out, and whether if it's on hit or on block, it doesn't matter. You're either going to get an entire combo or you're going to remain safe. All of those cameos that I mentioned, all those cameo moves, do exactly that. You cannot use this move wrong, because you're either going to end up plus, safe, or launching your opponent. You're going to end up using forward 4-4 a lot. You're going to pressure with this all day long. You're going to be using this like it's your job. Forward 4-4, it does have a 1 frame armor gap. So that looks like this. Oh, sorry. It's a little hard because it is a single frame, but there is an armor gap. So just keep that in mind. Alright, next string, forward 2-4-2, which is this string right here. That is a 12 frame high neutral check. Forward 2 is -3 on block. Comically enough, it is -2 on hit. And forward 2-4, -4 on block. And wouldn't you know it, -2 on hit. Forward 2-4-2, you can cancel any part of the string with a special, doesn't matter. It's a launcher of sorts. You can do all sorts of stuff with this string. It's extremely good. If you commit to the entire string on block, it is -14. So if you do decide to ever do that, make sure you cover it with a cameo. Forward 2, this button right here. I just want to make note of the range that this makes on block. Very incredibly important. Forward 2 is an insanely good tool to bait out pokes that can be whiff punished by a micro backdash back 1-2 because of the fast recovery and spacing on block that the forward 2 is going to create. So essentially you're just going to do this and people will poke and they will explode. Let's set her to block. Oh. So let's just say I'm Lee May. I think I can press, I die. I think I can down 3, I die. Maybe the down 4 will work, yep. So just like fast pokes like down 1s, they just explode if they try to contest on that. So that is extremely good. Forward 2, backdash, back 1-2 will catch pokes all day, every day. I'm sure every single time I've ever loaded up this game ever, I have hit that 20 times a day. What else? Forward 2 into a cameo is gapless. Forward 2-4 into a cameo is gapless. Forward 2-4 on hits is essentially just like an auto combo almost. You have so much time to hit confirm this. You can hit confirm with a sandstorm. Pretty simple stuff. I mean, if you see it hit, you can easily hit confirm that, no problem. Oh yeah, so forward 2 cameo, no gap. Forward 2-4 cameo, no gap. And then if you do forward 2-4-2 into cameo, there's actually a jab gap and an armor gap. So they can either A, spend a bar to armor through, or just stand 1 punish the gap between the 3rd hit of the string and the cameo. So be very careful with that. Next string we will go over back 1-2, which is this string right here. Back 1-2, 16 frame mid, extremely good advancing movements. It's essentially an easy hit confirmable launcher, just like this. Back 1-2, you just do back 1-2 burst, something like that. It is -7 on block. Like I mentioned earlier, only 3 characters in the game can do anything about that right now. That's Lee May's 6 frame special, allows back 1, and lose stand 1. All 6 frame buttons. You will die if you're fighting a good Lee May, Lu, or Lao. So just back 1 staggering is recommended. Definitely the slower startup of the mid is definitely balanced out by the extremely good advancing range and whiff punish capabilities that it has. And like I've already said, another easily hit confirmable string that becomes a launcher, special cancel with denial or sandburst. And it's made plus with a cameo, but back 1-2 into cameo has a jab gap and an armor gap. So again, be careful when doing that. I would just recommend staggering this button like this. If anybody knows that this is a gap, you're just going to die for it. It's extremely free. Let's see. 1-2-2 1+3. That is going to be this string right here. That's Geras' 7 frame jab punish. It is what I view it as a mental stackable string. Has a lot of mental stack to it. The 1 is one of his only plus frames on block at +3. The 1-2 stagger is -5, and 1-2-2 is -6 on block. Every part of this is good to stagger, all of it. If they get hit by even just the last hit of it on block, they let go. 14% full screen, get an Hourglass, +23, get to charge a second one for free. So that is extremely good. Extremely, extremely good. You want to stagger the string a lot. What else? 1-2-2 is a armor gap. So that is super unfortunate, but the third hit of the string does indeed have an armor gap. So I would just say for this string, just stagger it a bunch. It is super good, especially just committing to it a few times in a row. People generally do get opened up trying to mash out a poke or something like that. Very, very, very good. Just a standard jab string, honestly. Alright, 2-1-2 is going to be this string right here. 2-1-2. It is a 9-frame high to start. It is 0 on block. And the second hit of the string is an overhead. We don't really care about the entire string. We're pretty much never going to finish that. That's actually death on flawless block as well, if they flawless block the third hit of that. Alright, so 2-1. This is the real juice. Because the second hit of this is an overhead. And in NRS games, for some reason, by default, people default to blocking low a lot. Probably just because the pokes are lows generally. So overheads are extremely, extremely good. So what happens in fighting games whenever you get hit, you generally want to just block. So whenever you hit 2-1, you can meaty your hit advantage of the string hitting with a command grab. So that is extremely good. You can just continue to roll after that. After you start set playing people, you hit them with that string, you command grab, they'll try to duck, and then you get a whole low launcher for free. Your stand 2 or 2-1 is your second best stagger you have in your entire move list outside of forward 4. I recommend doing this all day long. I do stand 2 a lot myself. But yeah, 2-1-2, not a whole lot to it. However, the next string that we'll go over is going to be forward 1-2, 1+3. There is a lot to this string, more than meets the eye, so I'll try my best to cover all of it. Forward 1, I'll just start off by saying it's quite possibly the worst ranged mid in the entire game. Awful, awful, awful range. You have to be in their shit for this to connect. There's no way you are hitting it from like a whole dash distance back. You have to be in their shit to be hitting this. So just be mindful of that when using it. There's an 11-frame mid, safe on block, -6. Second hit of the string, -14. And the final part of the string is safe. But the final hit of the string can be flawless block and made at -15, which you would die for. This string is actually delayable. It is a delayable string. So the last hit of the string, this is full speed, and this is delayed. Full speed, delayed. You have two options when delaying it. You can either delay into the tackle, or you can delay into a special. And you're pretty much always just going to do the command grab, because forward 1 tick throws and forward 1-2 tick throws. Nothing else would benefit you other than trying to command grab. So if you catch someone on hit with forward 1-2, you can max delay the string as long as you can possibly delay it. And if you cancel with a command grab, it will catch them holding block after getting hit by the string, and the command grab will connect. So I don't even know how I would showcase this. This is extremely niche tech, but it does exist. Oh, fuck. Wait, what is this recording? Okay, I don't know why it's not coming out. Just believe me, that's a real thing. I don't want to waste too much time messing things up, because this is just all done in one take. For avoiding getting armored on, because every part of this string has an armor gap, I'll tell you that right now. Forward 1 into the wall is an armor gap, forward 1 into command grab is an armor gap, forward 1, 2 is a armor gap, forward 1, 2, 1 plus 3, armor gap, forward 1, 2, command grab, armor gap. It's all death. It's all death if they decide to armor. However, forward 1 is your saving grace. Staggering this button a lot is your saving grace. It is -6. You can block. Most people are not thinking or using their brain playing this game. It's just the honest to God truth. So what ends up happening is that you catch people autopiloting, and the moment they see this chest bump, they're gonna armor. So the easiest example, holy shit, hello? I hope to never do that again. The easiest example I can give you is I just go here, and if I see this as Lee May, I'm like, oh my god. Jesus. So yeah, they just, they're gonna see the chest bump, they're gonna try to armor, they die. So staggering the chest bump is super, super, super good. And I'll just say this one more time to reiterate. Forward 1 into command grab is an armor gap. Forward 1 into the 2 is an armor gap. Forward 1, 2 into command grab is an armor gap. And forward 1, 2, 1 plus 3 is an armor gap. And forward 1, 2 into the delay tackle or the command grab delay has a jab gap and an armor gap. So whenever you use that string, I would recommend not using it the same twice in a row, ever. Alright, the difference in stand 4 and stand 3 in combos, they are both 18 frame startups. Stand 4 has better cancel advantage at 34 cancel advantage, and stand 3 has slightly less cancel advantage at 37. The main difference is stand 4 has more of a vertical hitbox, meaning that goes more left to right, and stand 3 has a more horizontal, I'm sorry, not hitbox, a more vertical trajectory, and stand 3 has more of a horizontal trajectory. So easiest example I can give you is if you're doing a corner combo with a lot of gravity, you're going to want to do a stand 3 so that your command grab has time to come out. Sometimes if you do a stand 4 there's not enough gravity, your command grab will drop. Whenever you're doing like his main combo routes that you see all the time, I recommend just doing stand 4 into a burst, into forward 2, or whatever you're going to do, because this recovers faster. There's more cancel advantage on stand 4. So that's it. I'm not going to waste too much time on those. Alright, so that about sums it up for his special moves. That sums it up for his normals. We are going to get into his special moves. A whole lot of different things to go over. So, the first thing I'm going to go over is just his Fatal Blow. His Fatal Blow recently got buffed. It is now just about 1 footstep away from absolute full screen. So that is extremely good. It's 127 frame startup. I would use this as a full screen reactionary tool, or you can use it to whiff punish, long recovery, whiff normals, things of that nature. If you see somebody whiffing, you can just kill them. If you see a projectile with a lot of recovery, you could do it on reaction. Geras actually does go right through a projectile when he does it. So keep that in mind. If you're trying to clutch out a round, you can just phase right through a projectile and kill them before doing it. If you happen to get a hit, alright buddy. If you happen to get a hit, the best thing you can do is just forward 242 into Fatal Blow. That's the least amount of scaling damage possible. You just do that right away. Forward 242 Fatal Blow. Obviously you have the option to do like big routes into like snap and then do forward 242 Fatal Blow. But yeah, if you're using his meta cameo, which is Motaro, Motaro actually is the only cameo in the game that has his own Fatal Blow animation. So you can either have and use his 127 frame startup Fatal Blow, or you can use Motaro's 16 frame Fatal Blow. They are both armored, they're both really good. There's different combo routes you can do for each of them. But yeah, it hits the opponent much faster. Alright. Next move, down back 4. Down back 4 is Denial or Sandburst, whatever you want to call it. This is obviously a Hope Without Say, Death on Block. You're basically only going to use this in combos or to anti-air people. Down back 4, the Sandburst is an airborne only launcher. So this is the hit property on grounded. And this is the hit property in the air. It is a launcher. Airborne only launcher. It is his only armored move. His only armored wake up option. Very mediocre range. It has a rainbow hitbox, meaning it hits behind, above, and in front of him. So it hits all around. It is a godlike reactionary tool for jumping. Any kind of jump in, they do anything. If their move hits you, it doesn't matter. It is armored, it will launch them. They cannot jump at this move. Nobody in the game can jump at this move. So if you're sick of getting jumped in on, if you don't want to guess, up block mind games, things of that nature, literally you can just meter burn down back 4. Super good. You see this all the time in his combos. Just like this, for example. So yeah, you're just going to use that a lot in combos. Alternatively, this move is plus sometimes 18, sometimes 19. I don't exactly know what makes it change. I think it's the range or something. I don't know, but you just seen that was 21, that was 19. Anyways, it could be used as a plus between 18 and 19 restand off of any grounded freeze. So they have to guess your move list after that. Strike, throw, mix, command grab, whatever. And the reason that's good is it's the most damage you can possibly do while the enemy's frozen. And people cannot break whenever they're frozen. So if you want to deny them using a breaker, you want to kill them before they get a chance to break, you can do that. And even if they have just a little bit of life left after they come out of it, they have to guess low launcher, overhead, throw. Yeah, so this is incredibly disgusting. Any grounded freeze over 242 burst, guess. Extremely good. Alright, next we will go over Sandstorm, which is down forward 4. You have the option to do close, regular, and far. It is his only quote-unquote projectile available. On block, anywhere on screen, it doesn't matter. It is negative 27. It is an okay, just fine, full screen check. And it does pop up for combos. You have recent patches, it did make the hitbox better. They used to just be able to jump on top of it, for example, and they wouldn't even get hit. It was disgusting. So bad. Now, like always, you can do forward 2-4 Sandstorm. That's his main combo routes. Now, with the newest patches, you can do 1-2 close Sandstorm, and that pops up for a combo. And then both the same strings do the same thing in the corner, except you can do close sandstorm for both of them. So close sandstorm in the corner. Also, if you want to end an airborne combo route, you can do it, and you can send the opponent back to your feet with just a slight frame advantage. So that is what this looks like. So they're popped right back up at your feet, guessing strike, throw, grab, whatever. Mix, they have to just get out of a combo, stand up, and guess strike, throw, mix. So that is absurdly good to do. I don't see almost anybody doing that. Hitting somebody with raw sandstorm, just like the 1-2-2 1+3 on hits, or forward 3 on hits. If you hit somebody with sandstorm, you can just hourglass for free. It almost doesn't matter where they're at. Certain characters likely may, if you do it from, like, I don't know, this range, maybe this range. If you try to do it, they can maybe wake up and hit you with like a knee, so you got to be just a little careful. But yes, you essentially get a free hourglass off of that anytime. The EX Sandstorm is the countdown thing. This does give you an hourglass, but there is almost no utility for it at all. I'll give you... There are some like setups and stuff. I'll try to just do this in one go. There are some setups using the meter burn sandstorm. I dropped it. Let's just okay, literally one more try. Alright, anyways, you do that, you get a command grab launcher, sandstorm pops them up, you can stand one into snap, things like that. But yeah, that's very niche though. You're basically never doing that in a real game. But yeah, there is some utility, but hardly. I just like the down one, I would act as if this move is not in your move. It serves basically no purpose. Alright, next special, we're gonna have some fun with this. This is back forward 1. This is his time stop. This is his main combo extender. Hopefully without say, this is death on block. Don't do it on block. But this is his main combo extender. You're gonna see this move a trillion times. The meter burn version is pretty self-explanatory. You hit them while they're frozen. Wow, crazy. Who would have thought? The non-meter burn version, however, that is not self-explanatory. It can be cancelled in the startup frames of its animation by a cameo, and that acts as a way to get the same effect of meter burning it, but at the cost of a cameo use instead. So, Motaro, easiest example, you get the exact same effect as spending a bar. That was with Motaro. That was without Motaro. You get the same exact effect. The cameos that can do this for you right now in the game are going to be Motaro, Kung Lao, Chameleon, Katana Fan Lift, and Ferra. Ferra can do it as well. Actually, Ferra can only do it off of the elbow drop. She has to wait until you do the elbow drop with her up cameo. For the grounded ones, you have to hold back for the elbow drop to come out, and in the air, it does that by default. So yes, Motaro, Kung Lao, Chameleon, Katana Fan Lift, and Ferra. That's all the people that can cancel back forward 1. And you have, I mean, the cameos that allow you to do this, you have almost like infinite combo potential. 2 freezes, that's 3 freezes, that's 4 freezes. I dropped that because I suck, but yeah, insane. You'll notice a common theme that basically all of his meta cameos allow you to cancel back forward 1 for the cost of a cameo. Alright, next we'll go over his command grabs. 2 different kinds. Down forward 2 and back forward 2. They serve the same, almost the same purpose. You just choose which direction you want to throw them. Down forward 2 throws them forward, down back 2 throws them backwards. It's a 17 frame startup, pretty standard command grab. All the tick throw options you have is forward 1, forward 1, 2. And off of your pokes you get down 1 command grab, down 3 command grab, and and down 4 command grab. And like I mentioned before, he has the luxury of choosing the direction he gets to throw you. So in the corner, you can just throw them forward to keep them in the corner. If you throw them out, you get a special animation, big damage, 19%. If you're using an ambush cameo like Motaro or Lao, you can just get the big damage, get corner positioning again, get plus frames on their knockdown. Super godlike. If you want to command grab somebody in the corner, I recommend dash buffering a forward dash into back 1, 2. Because this is plus 15 on block. This is a 16 frame button. So that is a 1 frame gap almost. I'd say between 1 and 3 frame gap. So if they try to wake up jump, wake up button, wake up poke, wake up jump forward, jump neutral, whatever. If they do anything but block, if you do a dash buffer forward back 1, 2, they get caught and relaunched. So they have to hold block in the corner after getting command grab. Guaranteed. If you do it right every time. It's just something I would practice a few times to get down. Best times to use command grabs. I hope this is without say, but if they're blocking a lot, command grab the shit out of them. Extremely effective after landing a poke. If you land a down 3 or a down 4, because again, you don't have a down 1. But a down 3 or down 4, follow that up with a command grab. Super duper good. If somebody's trying to micro duck you, you can just stagger like 1, 2 into a mid. See that mid will hit them. Then they'll probably block most of the times, and then you can command grab. But yeah, if you just land a poke, that adds to your mental stack. They're gonna block, and then you can start command grabbing them. So yeah, command grab's pretty straightforward. One last thing I will say is if you're doing combo routes, the most damaging option you have is to end with a command grab. And if you want the bigger damage, you can command grab them out of the corner if you're doing a corner combo. And if you want to give up the corner, or if you have a cameo like Motaro available, to side switch again. Alright, next special we're going to go over is down back 3, which is his Hourglass. Hourglass is 70 frames of recovery. That is a lot. That is a whole second and 10 frames. So you have 70 frames to where you are in recovery. That is very slow, very hard to get out in the neutral. You are going to want to be hourglassing anytime you have an opportunity to do it safely. So when can you do it safely? Like I showed earlier, you can do it in combos. Just for an example, you're going to want to do it whenever you're sitting behind a cameo. Any sort of pause button cameo, Motaro triple tail shot, Kung Lao low hat, Sonya charged onion ring. Yeah, it's behind a cameo. Whenever you get full screen off of a button, like forward 3, you can hourglass. Whenever you stand storm on hit, you can hourglass. Things I've already mentioned. I will say it again for the millionth time, Geras is a resource mandated character. He functions entirely different with 3 hourglasses loaded compared to none. His move list is actually not even fully accessible without 3 hourglasses loaded. So do not be afraid to spend a bar on down back 3. If you need to get it out, or if you have none, you should be doing everything in your power to permanently have 3 hourglasses charges. I said in my advanced Geras guide, the perma glass playstyle. If any of you watched that also, or remember me saying that, you should be doing everything, no matter what, to be having 3 hourglasses. Most instances, pretty much all instances, of you using your snap or your 1-bar breaker basically guarantees you to load up 2/3 of your charges for free, or just spend a bar to get all 3. So for example, if you have snap loaded, you hit a snap, it just loops into itself. This is the easy version. All 3 loaded again. I hit them with a snap, and I just spent all of my my entire combo route just building hourglasses. So the harder version of that, which is the same result, more optimal damage. Oh, sorry. Okay, buddy. Never drop these ever. That's the more damaging version. I decided to spend a bar when charging, but yeah, that's the exact same thing. You get 2 hourglasses from doing this, and then you end it with 1, 2, 1 plus 3. And like I've said 100 times already, once you do this string on hits, basically guarantees you a free hourglass. So, like I said, that pretty much loops into itself. And then whenever you have 1-bar breaker available, the other instance of using your hourglass charges, if you notice the hit reaction of that, I get sent to one side of the screen, they get sent to the other side of the screen. I now have space on my screen to hourglass. Worst case scenario, you know, Lime throws a projectile at me. You know, oh no, I ate 3%, who cares? In trade, I get it anywhere on screen, homing launcher that loops into itself again, or I get access to a 1-bar breaker that heals all the life that I lost in the last 3 seconds. So that is a pretty worth it trade to me. So yeah, down back 3. In summary, you do everything you can to always have hourglasses. End of the story. Alright. Next special is down back 3 again with 3 hourglasses, and that is going to be how you use your snap. Oh, sorry. That is how you use the snap. Jesus. So it was actually recently buffed. Well, I believe it was 26 frame startup before. It is now 21 frames. So they actually made it faster. Whenever you do snap, you can either hold back to not side switch, or do nothing to side switch, up to you. Snap is a homing, anywhere on screen, meterless launcher that costs 3 hourglass, no bar at all. Snap is a beautiful button, it's just incredible. The utility of dealing with projectiles, punishing far range buttons, with punishing long distance normals like Sindel's hair normals, Kenji's double mid, Takeda's half screen, little, you know what I mean, the double mids that he does, the obnoxiously long one, things of that nature. Extremely godlike for whiff punishing, those type of things. Because most characters in this game are swinging with weapons, and Geras is swinging with a fist. So swinging with weapons is just in hand in hand with having disjointed hitboxes. Sorry, I was struggling to find the word there. I'll tell you, if you're swinging with weapons, most of the time your hitbox is on your body and not your weapon. And Geras is a weapon. He doesn't have things to swing with other than his fists. So in order to deal with that, you have the luxury of snap to deal with that. Other use for it, let's see. Just straight up catching people in the neutral, not blocking if they're just like wave dashing around, whatever. Let's just say, you know, Lime's walking around. You know, you just catch them, just moving, just shuffling in the neutral. You don't want to do that all too often. It's a little risky because you just don't want to waste it, straight up. But yeah, that is that. I hate to admit it, but that's kind of what I do a lot, and I do catch people all the time. I've also used this character religiously since launch, so I kind of just have like a intuition as to when I should use it. But yeah, you don't want to do that all the time because you don't want to waste it, but believe me when I tell you that shit works. Meterless damage, so for whatever reason, if you don't have any bar or you don't have a cameo available, Snap can combo into 1-2. Snap can combo into 2-1. Forward 1-2. Forward 2-4. You don't need to do that with forward 4-4 because that's a launcher already. And back 1-2 is made a launcher with denial or sandburst. So yeah, all those things you can combo in a Snap. Also, you can do huge combo extenders because of Snap. So, huge combo. Let's try to land one without dropping it. Absolutely high damage, disgusting capabilities. I didn't even spend a cameo there. That's just 3 bars, Snap, fatal blow, 70%, shake my hand. So yeah, you can use Snap for huge combo extenders. One thing that's very important to know is you can do a time freeze into Snap. So time freeze into Snap, that does work, but it does not work the other way around. You cannot snap into freeze. So if I do this, if you look at my inputs, that will never come out no matter what I do. So yeah, you can freeze into Snap, but you cannot snap into freeze. Alright, yeah, that's kind of Snap in a nutshell. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but it is very good with dealing with projectiles and zoning as well. If people are spamming projectiles at you, all day, let me get a little further. You can kind of just beat out zoning, more or less. So yeah, very, very good. Alright, next thing we're going to go over, I'm going to pray to God that I explain this as best I can, because I get a lot of comments and questions about one bar breaker, so let me do my best to explain it. Also, the down back 3 input, the same as the Hourglass, same as Snap. One bar breaker is down back 3, but it costs 1 bar and 3 Hourglasses. So this move is probably his best move that he has available. Extremely effective whenever you know how to use it. Arguably his best move on his move list without a doubt. Don't be afraid to play just a slightly more risky, micro duck more. Just take slightly more risk, nothing too crazy. Not stupid though, just don't play stupid. You don't want to be forced to come off of your resources. But yeah, whenever you play with one bar breaker, you can play a little bit more loose. So what does this do? Oh, stop it. Stop blocking. Let's look at one bar breaker, what it does. How about Lee May spend the bar? Alright, so one bar breaker, if used properly, is going to give you all the health back that you lost in the last 3 seconds. So, let's see what that looks like. So that is an absolutely disgusting tool to have, I'm sure, in any fighting game, actually. So whenever you do it, it costs 1 bar. You can do it on hits. Whenever they're hitting you, airborne, grounded, doesn't matter. It costs 1 bar and 3 Hourglasses. In order for this move to actually function, for it to get that animation to where you freeze into them, you have to use it whenever a move or a part of a string or a special is about to hit you. It's very important. Is about to hit you, or an animation such as a jump or a special is moving into you, or it's forcing you to move into them. So just like I'll use Lee May's knee for an example. That, for example, is a move that's about to be moving into me. So she you know, flies forward with her big knee. You don't want to use it as you are getting hit, because you will get hit out of your 1 bar breaker. So right there, I got hit out of it because I used it as a move hit me. So I'll do that one more time. So people like to complain about 1 bar breaker, but they don't understand that it is a very difficult and non-nuanced thing to be good at. You have to essentially know every character's combo, B&Bs, things of that nature, to know when you can safely 1 bar breaker. Because if you mess up your 1 bar breaker, you are losing your clock, you are losing a bar, and you are negative 200 trillion. You will die. You're going to waste all your resources and get launched again anyways. There's a few things in the game that actually beat the 1 bar breaker. This just doesn't work. If you do it against the Omni-Man Viltrumite stance, it does not work against Quan's Armor Portal, because this actually does count as a move. Oh, I don't have it. That's embarrassing. This actually does count as a move with a hitbox. So if any opponent in the game armors, whenever you do that, they win that exchange. But Quan's Armor Portal, if you're getting comboed, just don't do it, because you're just going to hit the armor and nothing's going to happen to them. They will not get frozen like this. Peacemaker's Force Field, it loses to that. Sub Cameo Ice Armor loses. Tremor Crystalline Armor loses. And the Chameleon Jade Glow. All those things listed, 1 bar breaker loses to all of that. Alright. Back forward 3 is the next move, which is Redo. It is a 66 frame startup. Really not that bad, honestly, in my opinion. But it does set Geras at a fixed point, and after 3 seconds of time, or if he receives any damage at all on hit, not on block, on hit, he is teleported back to the fixed point. So after 3 seconds, it doesn't matter where I go on the screen, I will always be sent back. And if I receive any type of damage on hit, I am sent back. You cannot combo me, anything of that nature. So you get instantly teleported back after 3 seconds. If you land the following attacks, it will update your position and you will not be sent back to the fixed points. So 1, 2, 1 plus 3 will update your position. Forward 1, 2, 1 plus 3 will update your position. Non-meter burn back forward 1 will. And command grabs will as well. So I only use this move in 2 different cases. You're either going to use it at full screen, just to see if you can get in, just to see if you can like land a hit or 2. You know, you never know. There's almost no risk to doing it. And then I also like to use it at the end of combo routes with back 1, 2. Oh, fuck that up. With back 1, 2 into Redo. And that pretty much guarantees you a safe jump, and then they have to guess, you know, strike, throw, whatever. And let's just say you command grab and they duck and they hit you, nothing's happening to you, because again, you're going to get hit, it's going to send you back to your fixed point, and yeah, so that's basically just a free turn. And whenever you get sent back to your fixed points, you are roughly negative 30 or negative 40, because the recovery on the frame data, it says 261, that is just straight up not right. So yeah, you are definitely punishable, yeah, if they are on top of you somehow. But yeah, very good. Almost nobody uses Redo, but I love that move. It's super good. Alright, now is probably the most complicated part of this entire video, which is the meter burn back forward 3, which is double time, and Geras' clone. So this, I guess, segment of this Geras guide is definitely going to be what takes the longest, because I'm going to share with you a bunch of different setups and things that I've developed over time. Yeah, so let's just get into it. First of all, the clone, it costs 2 bars to use, so pretty costly. I mentioned earlier the benefit of using cameos that allow you to meterlessly time stop is that you have the choice of saving the bar for your clone. So instead of always spending the bar on time freezes, you can opt out for cameos instead with the exact same result. So that pretty much incentivizes you to just use your bar for clone as well, because it is 2 bars. So instead of wasting it on combo extenders, you can just use cameos and you can save that for your clone. Alright, the clone input window is going to begin the instant frame 1. The instant Geras claps his hand into his fist, and the input window is going to end the instant the minute and hour hand reach midnight on the clock animation. So I will do this move a few times just so you can visually see it. So again, starts whenever hand claps fist and ends whenever minute and hour hand reach midnight. Let me not get lost in my notes here. Alright, so the clone requires just extremely precise inputs to work. Mashing them will get you nowhere. I will say that, I'll just say something now. A lot of people struggle with getting the clone double back 1-2 out. Because maybe they're just like mashing it like this on their inputs. Yeah, you have to precisely know what you're doing. So mashing them will get you nowhere with the clone inputs. I will go over the double back 1-2, don't you worry. The clone has 3 purposes and 3 purposes only. It is to open up someone's defense on block, to chip them out, to win a round or match, whatever, and to produce absolutely massive, disgusting damage. I would definitely recommend like heavy labbing to perfect your use of the clone, because it does cost 2 bars, and it is very damning to not be absolutely perfect with what you're trying to do with the clone. It's a very costly thing to not be good at. The best ways to get clone outs is you have two options really. Do you remember earlier whenever I said you have forward 2, forward 2 in a burst for a restand, and they have to hold you know, whatever comes next? So it's a very slight variation of that. We do stand 4 burst, stand 1 into clone. The reason we're doing stand 1 is because that is plus 21 on hit. So it's even more plus than doing a stand burst. So if you get a grounded time freeze. Oh, forgot what I was doing. Grounded time freeze, stand 1 clone. They basically just have to pray to God that they guess right. So yeah, that's disgusting. So yeah, that is your grounded routes to get it out, if you want to do that. Most commonly, though, you're going to want to do a forward 1-2. And the reason you do that is because the hit reaction on this pulls them into you. So whenever they stand up, they are forced to guess your clone stuff. So yeah, if you end an airborne route with forward 1-2 into clone, that is the best way to do it for airborne routes. One thing I do want to mention before I go into a bunch of different setups and stuff and just don't stop talking for a half hour. Whenever you do the clone, oh sorry, alright, bad menuing. Can I get an armor please? Thank you. Whenever you do this move, you as the actual Geras, you are neutral frame 0. And nothing in the game can interrupt your clone from doing an attack. Like whenever you hit Sento, he goes down, he like powers down, right? Clone is swinging no matter what, it does not matter. So if you go to do the clone, let's say we see Lee May happen to wake up into a knee. See that freeze frame there? I can react to that accordingly, and I know to come out of my clone blocking. So that's just something very just keep that in mind. You can block on frame 0 coming out of your clone. So if you see the startup of a move or an armored move or anything like that, you can just block, let your clone punish, and then you can pick up from there. Okay, I have quite, not a lot, but definitely a few different clone routes to go through. So I have this command grab launcher that's been around for a long time. Most of you know it, most of you have seen it, most of you have been hit by it. So let's go over how it works. There's actually 2 different variations. I don't know exactly who invented the first command grab launcher. I think maybe Burrito Voorhees, shout out to him, crazy Geras player. But the second variation I created. So we'll go over both. Alright, the first one, the clone is going to input down down, stand 1, 2 1. And the down down is strictly for timing purposes. It's just personal preference. If you don't have to time it with the down 1, with the down down 1, then you don't have to, but I do, so that's just what I'll do for this video. So the clone is going to input down down, stand 1, 2 1, and then you as Geras, you're just going to do an instant command grab, and you're going to get knocked down out of your command grab, and you're going to stand up, and you're going to hit them with a dash forward 2-4 sandstorm. So all together that looks like this. So what is happening there is the first thing that they are getting hit by is a command grab, which is a throw. So the opponent is getting launched for an entire combo because they got grabbed. So that is absolutely disgusting. Very, very effective. If you're doing this setup in the corner, you actually have to command grab them out of the corner. Because if you command grab into the corner, it will whiff. So this is what it looks like if it's done wrong. So you can't really do that, but if you command grab them out of the corner, it all functions the same. So definitely keep that in mind. Let's see. If someone tries to trade with you with armor or a normal, and if you get hits, you can pick it up based on what hits you and how you get knocked down. So let's just say, what's the best? I don't want to waste too much time. Alright, so let's say I duck the command grab, and you see that I got counter hit. Just things of that nature. If somebody trades with you or armors, like I mentioned earlier, your clone isn't going anywhere. So whatever you tell the clone to do, it's going to do regardless. And an easy example I know I can show you is if a clone hits you, like a stray hit, you can see that as Geras and then pick it up. So like the clone just hit 2-1 on its own, and then I'm able to visually see that and press my own buttons, and it's all in the combo. So yeah, definitely keep that in mind. Alright, next, the other variation of the command grab launcher. The other variation is just a little bit more complicated, but roughly the same results. This one, however, you have to do from a grounded freeze. Whether you do that with Motaro or any of the other cameos that I mentioned earlier, or you spend a bar. But you are going to have the clone do a down 2, and then you are just going to mash forward 4-4. So down 2, forward 4-4. You as Geras is going to walk forward a little bit and down 1 tick throw. And right after they come out of the time freeze, your down 1 will make them block and the tick throw will hit them. And the clone forward 4-4 will launch them. And then you can stand up, dash forward, and forward 2-4. Very important to know, always, whenever after you freeze them, you're going to do forward 2-4 clone. So all together, how about auto blocking? That would be ideal. Oh, god damn it. God damn it. So so many things happen so fast. I've only ever known one person to not get hit by that, and that's my training partner that I have 10,000 plus games played with across many NRS games. Shout out to the homie Zeisshock. He is cracked. He's seen every trick I have up my sleeve in this game. He's the only person I've ever seen avoid that. So if your name is not Zeisshock, you're probably getting hit by that too. And if you use that setup, you're going to hit anybody who you use it on. I'll just tell you straight up. So yeah, one more time to explain, because I know that is a lot to look at. Any freeze, whether it's a cameo move like Motaro, or you spend a bar, or you do snap, whatever, you're going to do the freeze, forward 2-4, clone. Clone does down 2, forward 4-4. You as Geras just walk forward and time your down 1 for the instant they come out of the time freeze. If they are holding block, your down 1 will make them block into your tick throw. The clone's forward 4-4 will the clone will go away before the pop-up comes out, so only the forward 4 will hit, and then you can dash forward and forward 2-4. I'm going to try to do that one more time. If I drop it, I'm not going to try it again. You get the point. I don't want to waste everybody's time. But yeah, that is the other variation of the command grab launcher. Alright, next one, far less complicated. It is a low overhead, low mid, low low, safe mix launcher. That has a lot of buttons to block, a lot of very fast. So the clone is going to do 2-1, forward 4-4. For inputting that, you could do 2-1, hold forward, match 4 for the clone. And then whenever you come out of the clone, the real Geras is going to input forward 4-4. That looks like this. So that is an extremely hard to blockable. It does not have the unblockable protection on it, because if an overhead and low hits within the first, within 3 frames or so of each other, the game will auto default them both to neutrals. So this does not have unblockable protection on it, therefore it is extremely hard to block consistently. So that is super good, it works all the time. So even if they manage to block your forward 4-4 as Geras, because that is -16. It does not matter at all because your clone is still going to be swinging regardless, making you plus. If your opponent is silly enough to try to armor, it's probably just going to break the opponent's armor anyway, because this is a lot of hits happening. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 different hits. That's pretty much nuking any armor in the game instantly. Oh yeah, and at the very end, if they decide to think that they can press, if the clone's forward 4-4 hits them, if they manage to block the clone's 2-1 and your forward 4-4, the clone does one at the end as well, and if they get clipped by that, then you can confirm it with a jab or a back 1 or a forward 2 and launch them from there. Alright, so the next setup we're going to go over is an anti-jump away launcher. The reason that this one is so important is because generally clone is very weak to people jumping away. So to avoid this whole setup, most people know, you just jump away, right? So that's unfortunate. We do have an option of just murdering them for trying it. So you're going to do, for the clone inputs, you're going to do down back 1 2, and again the down input is just for timing, and that's it for clone. So down back 1 2. So this is about the speed you want to do it. Just like that. And then you as Geras, the moment you come out of the clone, you're going to do an instant jump forward 2. Like that. Instant jump forward 2. And then you can pick it up and combo from there. So what's going to happen is that the first hit of clone's back 1 is going to whiff on purpose, and the second hit is going to pop them in the air like this. And the moment they try to jump away, your jump forward 2 will snipe them out the air, and the second hit of back 1 2 will relaunch them. So just like that. That's what you're going to want to look for. So if I am Li Mei and I try to jump, this is what happens. And then from there, as Geras, you could just do like forward 2 4-time freeze. So yeah, that is disgusting. That is super, super good to set play people with. If you ever decide you want to get cracked with using the clone and use clone a lot, people will start jumping away from it, and then you can kill them for doing exactly that. And once they respect that they have to stay grounded, then they have to hold the real bullshit that clone can do if you stay grounded. It also does not matter if they jump forward or neutral or back. It doesn't matter. If they jump away, that setup works anywhere on screen. So yeah, that is super godlike. Alright, I'm going to just hope that I explain this next one well enough for everybody, because this is by far what I get questioned about most, is the clone double back 1-2. The clone can do 2 back 1-2s, and it is extremely, extremely hard to do. So I will try my best to explain. The double back 1-2 is the clone's highest damaging option if you're doing a combo route to where you just want to do a bunch of damage. Basically, you have to know the feeling of back 1-2 on hit recovery, so how that feels whenever you hit them and how early you can do the second one. You're going to do the first one on frame 1 of the clone input window, which again starts whenever Geras hits his fist together, and then basically almost a frame perfect second back 1-2 off of the recovery of the first one. Whenever you're learning the double back 1-2 for the clone, it helps to use the clock as a visual indicator in the background as to when you should be inputting the second back 1-2. So I'll just show you what that looks like in a combo. I dropped it, unfortunate. But yeah, you've seen the clone did double back 1-2. So yeah, that is the most damaging possible option that the clone has. So that's a lot. Let me just say this, I don't recommend doing that at all because it is extremely hard to do, and I'm gonna nerd out a little bit. I have way more practice time and time played on this character than I would like to assume anybody who's ever touched this character. So I do it because I've done it a trillion times. I have done this so many times to where it's consistent for me. But believe me when I tell you, if you start trying to learn this, you will quickly find out it is extremely hard. So I wouldn't recommend it in a real game, but the alternative is the much easier and consistent option of just doing back 1-2, forward 3. It does slightly less damage, yes, but it does scale extremely well. It does a lot of damage. It's a lot simpler. You're just going to input back 1-2 instantly and then mash forward 3. So if you look at my button log, you can literally just do this. That's all you're going to have to do. Sorry. Brain's lagging. So that's what it's going to look like. So that works way much more consistent. So yeah, that's the damaging options anyway. Double back 1-2 and back 1-2 forward 3 for clone. Alright, and the last one I'm going to go over is going to be the clone march, is what I call it. Clone march. And it sounds a little silly, but it's actually super effective, really good. Basically, you're just going to hold forward until you think the clone will hit, and then you're going to have the clone do forward 2, forward 2. So yeah, that's pretty much what it looks like. This can result in many different outcomes, many different things. You can follow with sandstorms to chip someone out, to close out a match or a round. Let's just say if you're using Motaro, you can start doing some silly shit like this. Let's have her block. I mean, that's just, there's so much shit coming at them at once. I mean, they're holding like, you know, like nearly 10% of just shit flying at them. So yeah, very effective way to close out a round with chip. If the clone actually hits them, let's switch her back to auto. You can actually hit confirm the clone hitting them at full screen with the snap. So, for example, if I see this hit, oh, alright, great. Or just at any range, it doesn't matter. Any range at all. So yeah, that's super good. You can just follow that with another sandstorm. If the clone actually hits them, you can snap for a full screen, full combo. Super good. Alright, that is all I'm going over for the clone. I'm sure there are many more options and setups that people have, but these are just the ones that I believe are applicable in real games. And the ones that I use myself. I wouldn't try to tell you guys anything that I don't think is reliable or, you know, just not good. So, moving on, I'm going to briefly, as fast as I can, go over his meta cameos, some of them anyways, and what they do for him. I'm not going to go over them all, just 3 of them. Just 3 cameos, that's all. First of all is going to be Motaro. And I already posted an entire Geras Motaro guide on YouTube. So I'm going to fly through this pretty quick. If you actually want to learn about Geras Motaro, which is his best cameo, just go watch that guide. In summary, it is a plus 13 low projectile, meterless combos, absurd plus frames on knockdown, for forward 3, for throws, Oh, sorry, I did the wrong direction. So yeah, absurd plus frames on people's knockdowns. Absolutely suffocating like Loki. Like you are just right back on top of them. They don't get a chance to breathe. They just actually buffed Motaro, gave him a new move to where you can have multiple directions of the warp. Not directions, but different distances. So you get the very close, medium, far, and then very far. That's the broke shit. It's just like Cetrion's teleport in MK11. The reason that's good is because you can cancel the Hourglass with the warp. Nobody can touch you. You're just getting Hourglass for free out, and it's just not fair, honestly. Super dumb. Okay, yep. So a reactionary projectile reflect. Geras gets zoned out really bad. He has basically no way of dealing with it other than snap. So now we have the option of just reflecting it. That's super good. And let's just say they get hit by it, via snap, they get launched. That's a 2-hit combo. True combo off of their own projectile. So yeah, that is disgusting. The triple tail shot, crazy chip out options, free Hourglass cart charge just sitting behind it. It has, I'm gonna say this and try to hit it once or twice, and if I don't, I'm just gonna move on. But it is, the triple tail shot gives you untick throwable tick throws. Untick throwable tick throws. So what that means is things that normally don't tick throw, like back 1-2. He has certain setups to where you can make it tick throw. And I'm just gonna try to do that mid-screen. So that's pretty stupid. Let me try to hit it at a range to where I can actually just make that untick throwable tick throw a launcher. Yeah, crazy potential with that. If you want to see more about that, just look at my Twitter. I have so much shit posted on my Twitter. Just good luck finding it. There's a lot. 900 HP is a little tough. Geras Motaro is 900 HP. Geras is 950 by design. Motaro gives you 50 HP less. But in MK1, the lower health you have, the faster you build meter, actually. So 900 HP is a little tough, but having almost constant access to one bar breaker to heal your HP definitely makes up for it. So 900 HP is pretty much just a concept. In reality, if you're playing Geras as you should, correctly, permanently maintaining your 3 Hourglasses, you have a roughly 1200 HP if I had to guess. Alright, second cameo. I'm trying to move as fast as I possibly can through this, because this is already getting pretty lengthy. Alright, second best cameo for him right now in the state of the game is going to be Ferra. 1100 HP, 3-frame, both way launches, the 20-frame overhead which launches, and the low also launches. So yeah, 3-frame fuzzy block, and then a command grab on top of it. I don't know if most people don't know this, but the command grab for Ferra is actually not even on the move list, but it is L1. Here's where it gets a little stupid. The 3-frame fuzzy is fine, that's pretty doable, but you can delay when you're going to do it, because she can ride your back and you can jiggle around. So all sense of fuzzy guarding gets completely tossed out the window. Most importantly, what makes this his second best cameo is the fact that you get to pain and gain guaranteed anytime you land a hit with this character. So for example, I'm not going to do anything fancy. Yeah. Ferra actually allows you to cancel the elbow drop version of your non-meter burn time freeze. So if you do the grounded, you can hold back and then hit up cameo. And then if you get any grounded freeze at all, that's the default animation. And you get 2 pain and gains for free. So that's already stupid. Okay? That in itself is already dumb. Once you are double pain and gained up, which is guaranteed by the way, you now have access to the same 50/50s as before, the overhead and low, and it is armored and delayable because you can move around. You have mobility, and in some instances you are doing their entire life bar if you hit them. So after you get the double pain and gain, they have 1 chance to guess right. If they guess wrong, it's basically over. Just in theory. If you have max resources, fatal blow and all that, you are doing their entire life bar. That wasn't even like the whole optimal, but yeah, that's 85% of your life because you guessed wrong off of a guaranteed double pain and gain. Geras Ferra gets throw combos. Oh, let me not be awful. Yep, throw combos. Super good. He doesn't really get that luxury with many cameos, but Ferra, you get to do that. Where else? What else? Let me read. Oh yeah, keeps forward 4/4 safe with Ferra stance 1. If they block it, you are +3. There we go, +3, and it's just gonna naturally extend the combo if it all hits. So you just get a mindless game of just doing it. You can cancel and jail 2-1-2 on block into an NJP, and they can't armor, they can't press. That's just a true jail. And in the corner, if they get hit by this, okay, that is a launcher. So yeah, 2-2 into the NJP is a launcher in the corner. Forward 1-2 1+3 is actually a launcher on hit. A little difficult. But yeah, this gives that you could do like 95% plus with that route if you have 2 pain and gains. It's super unfair. You can input buffer a move into forward 3 and have Ferra grab you out of the air and mix. So for example, yeah, it looks like that. Alright, just like whiff a poke or something, because I can't just up cameo into forward 3 because I'll jump. So you have to input buffer. So you can NJP, for example, from your forward 3. You can land neutral and then just do the low. Disgusting. Absolutely absurd stuff. What else? Oh, and I'm sure it's obvious, but the low is pretty much a full screen launcher. Doesn't matter where you're at, you just do it. If it hits, it hits. So yeah, that's disgusting. So yeah, Ferra is basically the cameo with Geras is you hit them once, and if they guess wrong or they try to disrespect you and they hit your armor off your Ferra mix, they're just gonna lose. That's it. And last but not least, we're gonna go to Sonya, who I find extremely fun with Geras. She has a incredibly good projectile. You can charge it, you can just use it. It recharges super fast. You have the option to end routes in a perpetual 3-way mix that's safe with her charged projectile. So let's just say you do this. So that's the setup right there. You're gonna do whatever air routes will freeze, forward 2 burst, forward 1-2 charged projectile. They have to stand up and guess. So they are guessing between a 21% mid-screen command grab. Again, that's 21% for a command grab in the mid-screen. You can low check them for an auto combo. So if they decide to disrespect or poke, or think that they're gonna duck the grab, that's just a combo. So yeah, just forward 4 on stagger. Super good. And then they have the overhead, and all of that actually fails. They can't armor, they can't do anything. You're completely safe doing your forward 3. And then lastly, a little bit more exciting, if you do this in the corner and do 2-1, if they get clipped by that overhead, you can pick it up with a down 1. Down 1 first anyway. So yeah, perpetual 3-way mix, and in the corner, every single option is, I'm sorry, not every option, not the command grab, but the low and the overhead launch in the corner. Her leg grab was buffed to be +1. That is a +1 overhead. That is a launcher. The pushback on it essentially just resets the neutral. So it's an overhead launching neutral resetting tool. It does way too much. It's way too good, honestly. And you can extend combos at a time freeze, just like I just did a second ago. Oh, I didn't get a command grab there. But yeah, you can do that. That's pretty good. Her ambush move, which is just regular cameo, doesn't exactly have too many purposes for Geras. The only thing I ever use this for is to get out free hourglasses on hits, or in a combo round rather. Like that. So that just keeps them airborne and suspended a little bit longer, so you can get an hourglass out for free. There's basically no purpose for ever actually using that, because I mean this would be great if it reached there in time, like the Molina size do. I mean that does work, but that's just about the only reason I use that. Yeah, that's it. That is going to be it for this Geras guide. I tried to go through it as fast as I possibly could. I know this is already a very long video. But if you learned anything new, or just want to support the kid, I guess just leave a like, leave a sub, comment, tell me how your day is, whatever. That's it. I am out of here. Goodbye, gamers.